All right, I've got a couple big announcements for you guys. Number one, PFF's player prop tool is now available on the web for all PFF Plus subscribers. And number two, PFF Plus is 40% off right now. If you use the promo code BLACKFRIDAY, you get all of the same data, grades, and analytics that all 32 NFL teams use, all 136 FBS teams use. As well, you get access to our 2026 NFL mock draft simulator, that world-class player prop tool that can help you nail all of your bets, and of course, the best fantasy football tools on the planet as well. Again, 40% off PFF Plus right now when you use the promo code BLACKFRIDAY. Next up, we've got another massive rivalry game. And Dalton, it's one of the biggest rivalries in college football, maybe the biggest. I know Joel Klatt put out a take earlier that the game between Ohio State and Michigan is easily bigger than the Iron Bowl. I don't know, man. The Iron Bowl is pretty awesome itself.
Here's what I will say for this one. Of all the games we've covered, is there actually a game that's more consequential than that one?
It might not be.
Than Alabama-Auburn? Because if Alabama wins, well, we're going to have a lot of seeding arguments when it comes to that range of the seeding in the playoff and all that. But boy, if they lose,
they're done.
Well, they're done, and then you've got this is one where the door swings wide open for a whole lot of arguing with a whole lot of teams that we've covered here today already.
Yeah, the Iron Bowl, listen, no matter what anyone says, it is one of the best rivalries that we have in college football and all of sports. Honestly, forget college football. All of sports is one of the best rivalries that we have in sports. And it's produced some of the greatest moments in college football history, too. I mean, just recently, the kick six, obviously, of Chris Davis for Auburn to win that football game. What was one of the biggest games of the year? I believe 1-4 in that game. It basically determined who goes to the national title game that year as well. And, of course, the fourth and forever for Jalen Milroe, completing that pass in the corner of the end zone, too, for Alabama.
2 years ago at Jordan-Hare Stadium, 4th and 31 to Isaiah Bond.
Oh, that's
the last time they were in this building.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. What was the game, the time in Auburn before that? 4 overtimes, was it?
I believe so, yeah.
I mean,
the Bryce Young game, yeah, I forgot about that.
You remember, wasn't there the big Cam Newton comeback?
Yep.
I mean,
this game has produced some just magical football games. Just pure magic in the Iron Bowl, it seems like, every single year. No matter how good Alabama is, no matter how good Auburn is, this game is always massive. But this game is added stakes, though, like Dalton mentioned as well, because Alabama, 9-2 on the year, a win on Saturday night would ensure that Alabama goes to the SEC title game. And unlike other schools that we said before that have chances of going to their conference title games, Alabama's only path of going to the SEC championship game is by beating Auburn. That's all they need to do, and that's all they can do. Because if they lose to Auburn, there is no scenario where Alabama goes to the SEC title game. It also would ensure that Alabama, if they beat Auburn, they're going to the college football playoff if they beat Auburn as well. For Auburn, this game has a lot of stakes as well. Auburn's 5-6 in the year. They need to beat their arch rival in order to make a bowl game. A win for the Tigers also would keep Alabama out of the SEC title game, and Auburn could eliminate their rivals' hopes of making the college football playoff as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, the stakes couldn't be bigger for Alabama. And, of course, they have to save their season by beating Auburn. Which,
yep.
I mean, is there more of a contrast between, hey, if we win, we're just about locked into the playoff, and we could win the SEC, and if we win the SEC, we could be like top 6 in the country,
yeah.
right? Or you lose, and your season's just over, and there are some real big questions being asked there in Tuscaloosa.
If Alabama wins the SEC, do you think at 2 losses they could get a first-round bye? Maybe. It'd be tight, but maybe. I would say maybe.
Considering, I mean, you'd have to beat a pretty darn good team. I think, actually, is it the...
They beat either Georgia or Texas A&M, I think, in that case. So
yeah, you might sneak them in there at number 4.
They beat Georgia in the rematch.
If you're coming off an A&M win, and A&M's undefeated, was undefeated prior to that, or you're beating Georgia for a second time,
yeah,
you might sneak them in.
So Alabama could either be out of the playoff from this game or have a first-round bye, too.
Here's the real problem. They lost head-to-head to Oklahoma.
I know.
What do you do? Oh, it's just nonsense.
I would think if they win the SEC, they would put them over Oklahoma.
The amount of nonsense we have, man, it is something. It really is.
It's going to be crazy. You have the Alabama offense with Ty Simpson against this Auburn defense. What should we know on that side of the ball?
Max, the more I think about this game now, I don't like using it as an argument that Alabama should be higher or lower in the rankings, the fact that they have struggled to run the ball. I don't like using it in that sort of context, right?
Yeah.
But the facts are they have struggled to run the football this year, and Auburn has one of the best run defenses in the country. I don't have a ton of faith in Alabama to run the ball very well in this game. A lot of their rushing production in last year's game against Auburn came from Jalen Milroe, which you're not going to get from Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is going to have to beat the Tigers with his arm. The more I looked at this and I was thinking about schemes and man coverage and the run defense and could Bama run the – and I think at the end of the day, Max, I think this is going to be if not the, just Ty Simpson legacy game. What do you have here? Because you know what? Lately – it has not looked as pretty as it did the first half of the season. Ty Simpson's last 4 games, Max, you ready? 64.7 passing grade. That's not exactly prime time. And for as much as been talked about first-round pick and this and that, maybe the best QB in the country and at one point a Heisman candidate, we had him on our top 5s at one point, right? It's kind of slowed down a little. And I think you get to a point where what Alabama is going to need, on top of playing great defense and force the turnovers like they've been doing all year, they need their best players to play like their best players. I need Ty Simpson. I need Ryan Williams. I need Jeremy Bernard. I need some turnovers on defense. I think that's all it really – I don't know that there's a schematic bit to this. But Ty Simpson's got to be better than a 64.7 passing grade, 49.8 passing grade in the last 4 games against the Blitz. You saw this against Oklahoma. It's not that he takes a ton of sacks. It's that he's going to get rid of the football and maybe even be rushed into getting rid of the football. And we saw the way that Brent Venables trapped him into it. Now Auburn, they blitz at a little bit above average rate, not elite rate like some other teams. But, you know, you look at this. Last 4 games, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, 6 big-time throws, 7 turnover-worthy plays. For the better part of a month, he's kind of played like an average quarterback. And I don't think an average quarterback is going to win this game when you have such a bad matchup of your run game against Auburn's run defense. Auburn's run defense has been spectacular all season. It's the best part of their team. This game, to me, just is another one. And look, they did it. They got it done against Missouri. They couldn't get it done against Oklahoma. They got it done for a bit against LSU, but it slowed down in the second half. It feels like ever since the second half of that LSU game, Ty Simpson hasn't looked right. And if he doesn't look right in this game, I'm worried because they don't have a whole lot of other avenues to score. And the other guy I'm going to throw in here, they need their biggest game of the year from Ryan Williams.
Yep.
They need it. They got a big game from him against Auburn last year. They need, wherever that superstar version of Ryan Williams is that we've only seen a couple times this year, they need that version to show up because, honestly, I don't think Alabama offensively has a whole lot of other paths to scoring in this game than Ty Simpson being great and being the great version of Ty Simpson.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm looking at Auburn's quarterbacks as well in this one. And Auburn, listen, they've had plenty of issues at quarterback this year because obviously they're 105th in passing grade right now in the country. Their starter, Jackson Arnold, was benched for Ashton Daniels after 8 games. Daniels started the next 2 games against Kentucky and Vanderbilt. And in that last game that he had against Vanderbilt, he had a really impressive 83.2 PFF grade. He threw for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns while running for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. They benched Ashton Daniels in Week 13 against Mercier for good reason, not for anything, due to how he's playing. They benched him so they could preserve his red shirt for the year. So instead, they started a true freshman at quarterback and Deuce Knight, a former 5-star recruit, at quarterback. He had a 91.1 grade against Mercer. He ran for 170 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns on only 8 carries, while also completing 75% of his passes in that game as well. Now, Ashton Daniels is expected to return to the starting lineup this week against Alabama, but interim head coach DJ Durkin did say it is possible that Deuce Knight gets some packages in this game as well with his elite mobility. The Crimson Tide have the 5th best coverage grade in the country this year. So I don't think it's very likely that either Ashton Daniels or Deuce Knight or Jackson Arnold, if he plays in this game too, I don't think it's likely that any of those 3 have success through the air in this game. But Daniels and Knight, and if Arnold plays too, him too, they would be wise to utilize their legs against Alabama because 4 different quarterbacks have rushed for at least 65 yards on the Crimson Tide's defense this year. And mobile quarterbacks have been the kryptonite of this defense since Kalen DeBoer took over at head coach in 2024. If Auburn is going to pull off this upset over Alabama, expect the quarterback run game to be a major reason why.
It's just so funny that it comes down to all of this. And, I mean, you'll have Jackson Arnold standing on the other sideline, which, if for any reason he ever got in the game, I think Alabama fans, you don't want to feel that mojo again like you had last year with him ending the season last year. This is a weird matchup because of that. Because no matter who it is, Daniels or Knight or Arnold for any reason, that's the problem. You mentioned it. That's the kryptonite that's been a problem for Alabama for 2 years is just mobile quarterbacks and their inability to deal with them. They need their linebackers to play great. Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Nakai Hill-Green, those are the guys once again in the spotlight alongside the safeties, Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. We've talked about this, it feels like, endlessly this season. But this is the problem. Alabama does so many things well on defense, except stop running quarterbacks. Auburn's quarterbacks have the 12th most rushing yards in the country. And I'm counting only 1, 2, 3 teams in the Power 4 ahead of them, Utah, Arkansas, Georgia Tech. That is the level of mobile dual-threat quarterback that you're talking about, no matter who it is. And we saw what Deuce Knight, I know it was Mercer, we saw what Deuce Knight did in his first start last year. That guy's an athlete.
Yeah, he had a rushing touchdown on half of his carries.
Right.
4 of his 8 carries.
And Ashton Daniels, the big problem with him is ball security, which is huge in this game for an Alabama team that loves to force turnovers. But if he is safe with the football, and he's a really darn good athlete, as we've seen, he gets himself 100 yards rushing, there's a real problem. Don't forget Jeremiah Cobb now, too. He still exists back. It's not just quarterbacks in the backfield. It is a problem. And it's been Alabama's number 1 problem for the last 2 years. Can Kane Womack adjust to that? Where are we going with these mobile quarterbacks?
And I doubt we see Jackson Arnold in this game. He's going to be the 3rd-string quarterback most likely in this game. But it is worth mentioning that Arnold's legs were the reason why, and really the great defense by Oklahoma in that game too, but Arnold's legs were the reason why Oklahoma's offense was able to help out Oklahoma in beating Alabama last year and why Alabama missed the playoff last year. So Arnold now at Auburn, if he does play in this game, his legs will be critical as well. Dalton, ultimately, in the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn, who do you got? Well, Alabama clinch a spot in the SEC title game and, of course, clinch a spot in the playoff as well. Or will Auburn pull off the upset, kick Alabama out of both the SEC title game and the playoff altogether while also clinching bowl eligibility?
I mean, it should be so fitting for Alabama, right? Where it's, you get your big win at Auburn, 10-2. You don't get the 3rd loss like last year. Maybe not at the hands of Jackson Arnold, but at last year it was. This year he's at least still standing on the other sideline, so that's a little weird thing. And look, they had the trip up against Oklahoma. Can they come back from that? And can Ty Simpson really create that this is the legacy moment, right? It's supposed to be for Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams and these receivers and Kalen DeBoer, right? Really exercising those demons. Here's the one thing I'll say. You know when Auburn's quarterback's legs will be a big factor? In the victory formation. Tigers, 27-24. I'm going with it.
Wow.
We're turning college football upside down. I don't see how Alabama's going to be able to run the football. Ty Simpson needs to be significantly better than he has been the last month if they're going to win this game. They don't have Jalen Milroe this time. They are Alabama. I'm going to be honest with you. Turnovers on defense. If Alabama wins the turnover battle, then they'll win this ball game, right? Ashton Daniels, that's always been kind of the bugaboo there. It's like, hey, don't turn the football over. It was a problem at Stanford. I get it, trying to force it out there, but ball security is big. And it feels like, to me, this Alabama offense, they're just going to have to will themselves to points. I don't love that. Don't love it. I'm taking Auburn at home. We got circus games the last 2 times at Jordan-Hare. We're going to get another one this one. And this one ends.
All right.
War Eagle.
I might sound like a broken record here. I am taking a 2-score game, like an Alabama winning. 27-17.
Oh, you've got a way too casual Saturday about to happen here.
I think so.
Hopefully
it's better than that, but
you know better You have a way too casual rivalry week Saturday coming. Mm-hmm. You think we're just going to get to noon to midnight and just 14-point games left and right?
I think so. This one, especially, I just think the Tigers make it interesting early on. The difference in this game for me, Dalton, Alabama's got an elite secondary. Auburn's got a bad secondary. I think Ty Simpson will take advantage of that Auburn secondary, have a big day in this one as well. I know it hasn't been the great month for Ty Simpson recently. It'll be a get-right game for him against this Auburn secondary. Alabama's offensive line has been great at protecting him this year. They'll do so in this game as well. I think Ty Simpson will have a massive game against Auburn, and Alabama makes it to the SEC title game with a win, and also Alabama pretty much locks up a spot in the college football playoff with a win as well.
It's interesting. If that's the route you're going to go, then you have to basically just hitch it to Ty Simpson and go, no, I believe he's an elite quarterback in the country. That's basically, to me, that's the problem I have, is that it's still very hard to throw the football when everyone and their mother in the stadium knows you're going to throw the football. It still gets, and that's been the problem they've had lately. Now, you're right about Auburn's secondary. They've been bad.
Yeah.
True. They've also, when I was looking into some splits with this, when they blitz a decent amount, not elite, but like decent, they're awful in coverage. They just can't. When they sit back and they just kind of let it come to them, it's at least a little bit better. And I wonder if they trust their ability enough to stop the run, sitting back in too high sets. If they can do that, I think you got a different ball game here.
Yeah,
I'm going with it.
We'll see.
Shout out Zach Tantillo.
Shout out ZT for that as well. I'm sure he would love an Auburn upset as well. But yeah, we got someone in the chat, Dalton, actually an Alabama fan, saying real rivalries are ones that come from teams in the same state. He says, I have dreaded the Iron Bowl every year for my whole life because of the fear of getting trash talked by my friends who are Auburn fans. That's real right there, man.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's real. It's funny because between the two of us, I'm not usually the vibes guy, but there's a lot of these. Max, it's the last big Saturday of the year. You're gonna get some fist fights.
Andrew Harp on the chat saying Max's lead with the upset picks is getting to his head, confirmed with all these.
Oh, no question. Yeah. Because now he goes and picks all the favorites just by a lot in these games. He's taking all the favorite spreads, and then he gets to his upset and go, yeah, this is the one upset. His upset pick is the only upset that'll happen all week. That's what he's going for.
Exactly. I think I had Texas over A&M. That's an upset.
Also, threading the needle on a 2-point Tennessee win.
Yeah.
That's messed up. That's really messed up.
Yeah, I probably should have done different than that. But
any sort of sharp better looking at you for advice of that game.
No, you don't.
Like, oh, thanks.
No, yeah, don't do anything. Yeah.